How good can Justin Fields be in 2025? Today on JetCast, I'm breaking down some of the boldest predictions that I've seen online. Let's get into it. All right, so when the Jets acquired Justin Fields, they offered him a little bit more guaranteed money than the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he came here. It, I think, for me and a lot of other guys, it kind of raised a few eyebrows. It was like, is this a desperate move? Or are they trying to tank and they just need a quarterback, or do they really think that Fields can be something real? He can be a long-term starter here. From Fields' perspective, he's coming in here, I think, with a clean slate. We got a retooled offense under Tanner Engstrand, and I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder the size of MetLife Stadium, if we're being honest. But what are the realistic expectations? What can we decipher from his past years with Pittsburgh and with Chicago? So, the craziest prediction that I've seen online, and I'm not going to say who it was, but someone predicted that he would have more than 4,000 passing yards and more than 30 total touchdowns. Um, that sounds outrageous to me.
Boy, have you lost your mind? Because I'll help you find it.
Until you dig into the numbers for a little bit of context. So, from my perspective, I don't see 4,000 passing yards, but I can see 4,000 total yards. And here's the logic. In 2022, Fields ran for 1,100 yards alone. He was, for the Bears that year, their top rusher. And then in 2023, he improved his passing. But in Chicago, he was under a lot of stress. Okay. He had a bad O line. He had no real weapons, and there was no stability. The coaching staff was just turnover every year. Now he's got Garrett Wilson. He's got Breece Hall. They picked up Reynolds. You still have guys like, I hate to say it, Malachi Corley on the team. We don't know what he's going to be. And they pick up a pass catching tight end in Mason Taylor, who I think is going to be phenomenal. And now the offensive line has the potential to be one of the best in the leagues with Fashanu, Simpson, Titman, AVT, and Membu. So 4,000 total yards, I don't think is a stretch, especially if he can match the 1,000 or 1,100 yards that he did in 2022, again, with a bad O line. So this is, at least from for some people's perspectives, the most talent that Fields has had ever on a team. Now, there are certainly things that the Jets can do to bring in more talent. A lot of us may think that they're not a very talented team, but from his perspective, he's had nothing. And if he's protected and if Angstrom can bring in some of that creativity that he had with the Detroit Lions, 4,000 total yards is not a fantasy. It's possible. Total yards. Now, I want to go back into the bold prediction of the 4,000 passing yards. Like, why do I think that's so crazy? So, some perspective. The Jets have had one 4,000-yard passer in their entire history. That was Joe Namath, and it wasn't even the Super Bowl year. It was 1967. Not Testaverde, not Fitzpatrick, not Mark Sanchez, not Chad Pennington, not even Ken O'Brien. It was only Joe Namath 1 year, and he barely crossed that 4,000-yard mark. If he were to pull that off, he would instantly be at the top of the record books for passing on the Jets. Instantly. 30 touchdowns, 30 total touchdowns, possibly, rushing and passing. But when it comes to 30 touchdowns, there's only one quarterback that has thrown for over 30 touchdowns in a season. And it's not Joe Namath. It's not Testaverde. I can go right down the list. It's not Pennington. It's not Sanchez. It is Ryan Fitzpatrick in 2021. He threw 31 touchdowns and set the record. That's how abysmal the quarterback play has been for the Jets throughout their entire history. We've had one 4,000-yard passer, and we have one 30-plus touchdown passer, and they're not even the same person. And of all people, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. So that's why it is so crazy and outrageous to think that he could have 4,000 passing yards and 30 passing touchdowns. I think it's a joke. Total, it's a real possibility, especially if he's able to run well behind that offensive line. And I mean, he had 10 total touchdowns in 6 games last season, right? 4 of them were rushing touchdowns. So I don't think it's that far off to think that he could hit those numbers as total yards in total touchdowns. Now, bold predictions are not guarantees, right? So let's pump the brakes for a second. Fields still has to master a new system under Tanner Engstrand. He has to, of course, stay healthy, and he has to cut down on the turnovers. He's never thrown for more than 2,600 yards this season. So 4,000 total yards would still be a jump. So he has to make a jump in the passing, and I think he can do that with the tools and hopefully some stability here and make up for that difference with the rushing. The biggest question here all boils down to, can the Jets actually bring in a young quarterback? He's only 26, right? Give him the tools that he needs and the stability he needs, because they have never been able to do that. Right? I mean, they were able to do that a long time ago with Chad Pennington, but injuries really derailed Chad's career. You go from Chad Pennington on, starting at Mark Sanchez, they have never given a young quarterback the tools and the stability that they need to thrive here. And we've seen guys leave and be successful, like Geno Smith, like Sam Darnold, because they were put in environments that allowed them to thrive. That's the biggest question. Can the Jets actually get it right? I think that's more conducive to Fields thriving here than his talent alone, or, the talent around him is the stability. Can the Jets do that for him? So I want to hear from you. Can Justin Fields hit 4,000 total yards and 30 total touchdowns in 2025? Drop a comment, hit that like button, and let me know. Bold prediction or a guarantee? We'll see.